G'day and welcome to The Tackle. I'm Joel Gelding. My most horrific injury in football ever has been a broken tip of the finger. Not as bad as former Fremantle captain Shaun McManus, who joins me. 2 knee reconstructions. Which injury was more horrific? I'm leaning towards mine.
Yeah, look, it looks a bit nasty, to be honest, and it stops you doing heaps of things, and it's only a little finger.
It's hard to shower with it as well. Did you think about that? A massive weekend of footy. We'll touch on some of the games that have just gone for round 16, or round 17, I should say. A big game was Collingwood versus Gold Coast. This had everybody talking, mainly because of one Gary Ablett.
He was amazing. 49 possessions and 2 goals. Single-handedly took Collingwood to pieces. Gold Coast winning their 6th game of the season, I believe. Only a couple of games outside of the 8 now, Joel.
They've really turned the corner, haven't they? And this, you'd have to say, is the biggest win in the club's history, knocking off Collingwood, which is huge.
It is. It just shows inconsistency from the Pies as well. You never know when to tip them these days, do you?
Yeah, it's a terrible season they've had, I reckon. For the talent that they've got on the paddock, don't throw stones at me, Collingwood fans. Let's have a look at Fremantle and Richmond. Shawnee, not a good game because I tipped Fremantle. I thought they were going to get the job done, but maybe without Pavlich and Ballas, I don't know, maybe it just didn't happen.
Well, you should have rang me, Joel, because I thought this was the bet of the round, Richmond to beat Fremantle, and that hurts me to say that. No Ballantyne, no McFarlane, no Pavlich, no Sanderlands, no Fremantle Dockers. They were proved to be not good enough. Richmond Tigers all over them from the very first bounce, mate.
And they cement a spot in the finals, you would have to think. Only like the second time they've been in there in a couple of decades.
Yeah, it is. It's good for the AFL because if Richmond are playing finals, you're guaranteed of a big crowd. Means more money into the AFL coffers. They'd be loving it.
And the last game of the round we're going to have a look at from round 17 is definitely the Adelaide Crows versus Geelong. I've worn a very special T-shirt this week to make sure that we talk about it.
The Camry Crows, look out.
Shawnee, I didn't tip Adelaide. That's the first thing I'll say. I don't think anyone did. But Geelong, even with Jimmy Bartell and Harry Taylor taking a mark with a minute to go, couldn't get the job done over the Crows in a massive comeback. And I reckon you'd be a little bit nervous as Coach Scott because it's a couple of times that the Cats have looked a bit shaky after a good solid lead.
Yeah, you're right there. Great to see Adelaide win by 2 points. More importantly, they come over to Fremantle this Saturday night to take on the Dockers with a lot more confidence. It's up and about. It'll be a hard game this weekend.
And I think if you have a look at the Crows' run home, they could win 5 out of the next 6 games, and who knows, play for 9th spot perhaps if the Bombers get eliminated.
I think he's getting ahead of himself, my friends.
Don't write us off yet. That's all I'm saying. Well, before we get a look into those other games that are happening this weekend, why don't we have a look at the Dream Team, Shawnee Mac? No surprise to see who's at the very top of the list, mate.
Well, of course, Gary Ablett Jr., everybody's got him as captain. Joel, did you have him as captain this week?
Of course I did, yes.
Fantastic news.
Nearly
So he was
changed it.
top of the pops. Alex Rance and Trent Cotchin from the Tigers were dominating, and you wouldn't have heard Alex's name too much in the Supercoach points, but he had about 16 marks on the weekend. He was outstanding. A lot of intercept marks as well, points there, and of course Trent Cotchin was outstanding as well. Chris Marston drops in there as a West Coast Eagle who was in the top 5.
There you go. So Dream Team looking good, except for my team. It's awful. This weekend's game, though, starts off with a blockbuster. Essendon and Hawthorn. It's at Etihad. It would have been better at the MCG, I would have thought. Cram 90,000 in there, but still, it's going to be a massive game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 100% would tip Hawthorn to win if it was at the G. A little bit shaky knowing that it's at Etihad. Essendon do play well there, Joel, but I'm going with the Hawks.
This will be a real test for the Bombers as well, just to see where their season's at. They've had a couple of really good wins this year, but the other game we're going to have a look at this weekend, Richmond and the Swans. Who are you tipping in this one, mate?
Yeah, I think the Swans, I saw them play last week in the flesh. They were outstanding against West Coast. You can't deny that they just keep on chipping away, and they're a team that we probably still don't respect as much as what they deserve. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. If Richmond can be competitive in this game, it's only going to help them out even more as we head towards finals. But Freo Adelaide, here in Perth, Adelaide need this win more than Fremantle. I think we want it more, to be completely honest. I'm tipping a snap goal in the last 30 seconds to win it for the Crows by 3 points.
Oh, I feel a bet coming on. What have we got on this, my good friend?
I will sell all of my possessions and gather all the money that I have and put it on Fremantle because that seemed to work for the Crows last week. Because I put it on Geelong. So what I'm saying is I'm going to put $50 on Fremantle to win.
Oh.
And the Crows will win because I've tipped Fremantle.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a really hard game for Fremantle to win.
Yeah.
Crows up and about. Sanderland's likely to come back in Subin for Fremantle. Hopefully that steals them a bit more. I know Ross will be breathing fire this week after that performance, but I really think it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, I'm tipping Fremantle, but it's going to be one of those ones this week.
I think I'd really like to see you wearing this on Monday.
Well, we'll see. One of us will be wearing a Crows jumper or perhaps a Fremantle jumper. We'll see how it ends up.
Let the sledging begin. We'll see you next week on The Tackle.
Nova.